Hi there, Lesmian here, and let's talk about something that affects every last one of us. You, me, and the person next door, and that is habits. In particular for you, I want to discuss trading habits and how they are costing you lost profits. So, may I suggest that as you watch and listen that you have a pen and writing pad handy so you can do some simple exercises I have lined up for you that can help your trading be more successful. We will discuss how habits are formed and how to identify and correct unresourceful trading habits later. But first, let me connect you to your own trading habits and explain why it is important to regularly pause to analyse and understand them. Your habits are your regular or ritual behaviours, and in your trading they form part of your total trading activities. And of course, it is those activities that will ultimately make you profit or lose you money, or even cause you to blow up your trading account. If you have developed unresourceful trading habits, then you must do something to eliminate them as soon as possible so you can become more efficient and effective. Resourceful habits will also help you to have a more disciplined trading process so you can become the more profitable trader you want to be. Whereas any unresourceful habits may be producing ineffective and less profitable trading. As we will soon discover, the problem is you probably don't even know which of your habits are the main profit killers. So stick with me as I walk you through all you need to know about habits and how to fix those that are hurting your trading profits. Let's dive in by first answering the question, what is a habitual action? So I know we are all on the same page. Habitual actions or habits are simply the individual activities you engage in regularly but that you do without conscious thought. Habits are the things we do on autopilot and that we don't usually need to focus our mind on too much. In fact, when involved in a habitual activity, your mind is quite likely to be focused on something else entirely. You form a habit very simply by doing the same activity repeatedly over a period of time. The activity could be simple like washing your face or complex like driving a car. But with enough repetition, any activity, simple or complex, can become a habitual action. Interestingly, your mind doesn't care whether a particular habit is good for you or not, which is why many traders develop unhelpful habits such as adding to a losing position, just as easily as more useful ones like allowing a profit to run. Some activity-based habits can be fairly random. That is, you do them anytime and anywhere, such as the habit of nail biting. These habits are usually about the activity itself and don't necessarily rely on any external factors. Other habits may have a definite trigger that initiates the habit, and this is very common in trading. Triggers come in different forms. For example, a time-based trigger would initiate a habit that you do at a specific time each day, such as taking a coffee break at work. And you will notice your mind alerts you to that time even without reference to a real clock. Other habits may be triggered based on specific scenarios or sets of conditions, such as the scenario of a trade moving into profit, triggering your fear of losing and causing you to grab the profit too early. Repeat this or any other behaviour often enough and it will become your habitual action in that scenario, and this is the danger to your trading. So you may have already unknowingly developed such profit killer habits. In fact, practically anything can be a trigger for a habit, and an individual trigger will normally use one or more of your 5 basic senses of sight, sound, touch, taste and smell. Let's remember though, as we talk about habitual actions, we all have many useful habits that are essential to our daily life, and traders should develop resourceful habits to deal with the various trading scenarios. Without the resourceful habits we all engage in, like always putting the same leg in a pair of trousers first, or always putting the same arm in a jacket sleeve first. By the way, have you ever tried doing it with the other leg or arm first? We would never get anything done in a day. Imagine having to consciously go through the complex selection and decision-making process for every single action, big or small, you wanted to do. It would take you hours just to get up in the morning and go through your morning washing and dressing routine. It is important to develop strong resourceful habits in your trading too, so you can be a more efficient and effective and profitable trader. Try this simple exercise to help you. Become aware of some of your own resourceful trading habitual habits. Write a list of 3 useful things that you do during each trading session, but that you do without really thinking about it. 3 resourceful daily trading habits. Now think about each one of those items on your list and mentally run through the activity in your mind in great detail to become aware of just how little you are consciously aware of what you are doing. So, the right resourceful habits are good for your trading and help you to be efficient with your time and energy so you can concentrate on the trading activities that require your undivided attention. Of course, not only are there resourceful habits that can make it more likely your daily trading will be more successful, but there are also a host of unresourceful profit killer habits too, and I have already mentioned a couple of those. We might even have what many people would call really bad habits, although I prefer to refer to a habit as either resourceful or unresourceful rather than inherently good or bad, which are too emotive. But what is an unresourceful habit really? One person's unresourceful habit might be another's resourceful habit. For example, someone trying to lose weight might consider consuming 3,000 calories a day to be an unresourceful habit because it doesn't help them to lose weight. Whereas someone trying to gain weight would see it as a resourceful habit because it would help them. The key to whether something can be considered a resourceful or an unresourceful habit is simply to ask yourself the question, how specifically is this habit helping me or hindering me? You will know the right answer intuitively because you will feel it in your body, usually in the abdomen or your tummy area, using what I call your ITM or inner truth mechanism. Trust that gut feeling of your inner truth mechanism. It is usually right. Okay, time to do the second exercise. This time, write a list of 3 trading habits you have that your intuition tells you aren't really useful for you. Be very honest with your answers rather than brushing your reactions off with emotionally generated justifications, i.e., I always move my stop loss when a trade goes into profit. This is the identified habit part because it locks in some profit, the justification part. As before, think about each unresourceful habit and bring the activity back into conscious thinking. From now on, whenever you find yourself doing the habit, try to stop for a couple of seconds and ask yourself whether it is really useful for you. As I said, habits are formed by repetition and practice, and all habits are formed this way. It's not surprising then that both resourceful and unresourceful habits are formed in exactly the same way. Your subconscious mind, which is where the habit gets stored and so ceases to be part of your rational thinking, doesn't have the ability to judge whether an action you are engaged in is resourceful or unresourceful. The judgment process is started in your emotional brain and passed to your conscious mind for a decision. Unfortunately, we don't always listen to our own best advice. This means it is just as easy, some might say easier, to develop an unresourceful habit as it is to form a resourceful one. Because your unresourceful habits are controlled by the same mechanism as your resourceful ones, that is, your powerful subconscious, it is difficult to stop doing the unresourceful habit simply by willpower alone. In fact, willpower is not the right tool for this job. As far as your subconscious mind is concerned, drinking a bottle of whiskey a day is the same as brushing your teeth in the morning. It is just an activity that no longer needs to be thought about at the conscious level. The fact that a bottle of whiskey a day is not good for your health isn't a consideration for your subconscious, because the subconscious is non-judgmental. In fact, it is totally neutral about good or bad, useful or not useful. The only way to change an unresourceful habit is to completely replace it with a more desirable resourceful habit. However, and this is really important, a research team led by Philippa Lally, a health psychology researcher at the University College London, found it takes an average of 66 days to create a new habitual action. Actually, the range was between 18 days and 254 days, so you can be totally free of that old habit. Also, and this is essential too, if you happen to forget and do the old habit a time or two, it doesn't seem to have a massive impact on the number of days. In other words, you can allow for a few mistakes while changing a habit for a new one. So, anyone who decides to quit smoking and a week later thinks they have cracked it are likely to fail simply because 7 days is just not enough time. In fact, the main reason why most people fail to change an unresourceful habit is simply that they aren't patient enough to keep going for long enough. Also, the desire for instant success or instant gratification means that if they don't see results after 5 to 7 days, they think the process has failed and so give up. You have to keep going. Another reason people don't succeed at changing unresourceful habits is that they try to change more than one habit at a time. This can be just too much to do. Aim to rid yourself of just one unresourceful habit at a time by creating a new resourceful one to take its place in your life or trading. Eliminate the least useful habit first, and in trading that will be your biggest profit killer habit, and then go on to the next and then the next and so on. Okay, the last but not least exercise, how to change your unresourceful trading habits, or any habit for that matter. Let me teach you a simple 5-step change habits process now, so grab your pen again. Step 1 is to choose an unresourceful trading habit from your previous list, assuming you have any of course, that you want to change. Step 2 then is to write this down on a new sheet of paper and say, from this moment I no longer do, and insert the old habit there, and instead I do, and insert the new behavior, and place it somewhere you will see it several times during each day. The bathroom mirror is good, or attached to a computer monitor. Write this sentence in the present tense. This is very important. Step 3 is to bring the unresourceful habit to mind and make a detailed list of all the actions, even the smallest, involved in that unresourceful habit. Make yourself aware of the process involved in the habit. There is usually a specific chain of events that are sequentially repeated in most habits. Step 4, write down exactly what happens just before this habit starts. This is likely to be the trigger for the entire action sequence of the habit. Is it a sight, a sound, a touch, a taste, or a smell, or a combination? And in what circumstances does this occur? Write this all down. It is important to understand when and how the trigger works, so you can be ready to stop it firing off the old habit and allow you to change your next actions for something more useful. And finally, step 5, really make this trigger a part of your conscious mind by determining to recognize it when it occurs and decide what alternative actions you will take instead of the previous habitual ones. Write the new behaviors down and study them regularly. Now, for a minimum of the next 66 days, whenever you notice the trigger for the old habit, start the action sequence of the new habit to immediately stop yourself doing the old actions. Break the chain of events by being conscious of the trigger happening and resolve to change it. For example, don't move your stop loss when the trade goes into profit. Sit on your hands instead or leave the room. Don't jump straight back into the market when you have taken a trade in loss. Change the sequence of events and you will start to rid yourself of the old habit and form a new and more useful one. And finally, remember that changing your trading habits has nothing to do with willpower, but with the conscious creation of a new habit that replaces the old one. It is about focused effort and above all, patience. Remember, 66 days or fail. I know you can do it. I really care and want you to succeed, so please let me know how you get on changing your unresourceful habits for resourceful ones with a few words in the comments box below.